before we give money to anyone, before we support any organization or anyone, we kind of do our due diligence, our research. So I just did a little bit of research. So I said, is Frontline news organization, these journalists, are they trustworthy? Is there evidence of them trying to manipulate and deceive and shape people? No. I researched that, and what I found, no, they're impartial as can be. And from what I've watched of their products, that's my opinion of their quality of their work. But I donated and subscribed, right? It's not that much money, but I wanted to research too. So their parent organization, that's how much they make in their last IRS filing, their revenue, $225 million. Pretty significant. It's a nonprofit, and I think this is, let's assume, right? It's a safe assumption, GBH. Let's specify. Words have meanings, guys. GBH is a nonprofit worth $580 million. Significant, over $500 million. And I highlighted it. We're not going to spend a lot of time talking about how much the CEOs of nonprofits make. Joe Rogan talks about nonprofit organizations. Yeah, let's do it.
There's so many competing philosophies on how to make a society run correctly, and a lot of them just completely ignore reality, and we deal with the consequences of it. And then you have people saying, oh, the billionaires aren't paying their fair share. That's what's wrong. That's not what's wrong. What's wrong is you have a completely captured government.
I don't agree with you, Joe.
There's also
that's not,
this
billionaires aren't to blame
aspect
for
to
our
it where there's people that are working for nonprofits to make things better that don't make anything better. They don't do a good job at all because they're weird aspects.
So that's one of the criticisms of this media personality, is that he's become real chummy, real friendly with billionaires and a trillionaire. So maybe his opinions have been influenced by that, right? I'm careful of what I'm saying because I don't know what's in this guy's heart. This isn't about this specific guy, but what he was talking about that's making me talk about billionaires is that it's a criticism that, hey, there's a trend right now, people blaming billionaires. So I think this guy, Joe Rogan's comment about, well, it's not the billionaires, guys, they're paying their fair. I think that's too broad, too generalized, and I don't agree with that statement. That's why I'm saying. But I'm recording right now, and I'm going to use this later. Let's go full screen. This blur nonprofits.
Working for nonprofits to make things better that don't make anything better. They don't do a good job at all because they're not beholden to all the pressures that you would have if you were an independent business. If you were an actual private business that was assigned a task of cleaning up the homeless issue, you wouldn't make any money if you didn't do a good job. You would lose your business. Like if homelessness, cleaning up the homelessness was an actual business, and you started a private business to clean up the homeless, and you got all this money, nobody would invest in your company. Your company would fall apart. It wouldn't work. But because it's a nonprofit, you could have a $700,000 a year salary and do a fucking terrible job and have no fear whatsoever of being unemployed.
Joe Rogan, I do 100% agree with that commentary and your assessment of nonprofits. That was one of the things that set me off, guys, on my downward spiral. There was a story years ago of a nonprofit organization. And look at this, guys. Like, you just look at this and the name of it and the meaning and the symbolism. What a powerful image. That stuff happens in combat, guys. I'm a combat veteran too, infantry officer, and it happens. Soldiers of every nation, right? You're in combat. Your fellow soldier is wounded from enemy contact, and they got to evacuate him. You got to get him out of there. Him or her, non-gender. So what do? You put them on your back and you carry them out. And sometimes it's more than one people doing it, and sometimes on a stretcher. But look, that's powerful. And that makes you want to contribute, right? And I did contribute. And this was years ago. I'm going to tell you what set me off. Let's look at the video. And this isn't now, guys. I'm telling you, right? Just like people make mistakes and they deserve a chance to redeem themselves. But I'm telling you, when I was probably lieutenant or captain, this came out and I felt sick. I felt sick because so many people trust organizations like this, nonprofit organizations, and they contribute and they trust. Like, what does this organization stand for? Just the name of it. It stands for helping veterans. Stands for helping warriors that have been wounded in combat, or it doesn't have to be combat, right? Military service is dangerous in general. Yeah, they do good. I'm 1,000%, 100% confident they do good. But the question about, in general, nonprofit organizations, when you say nonprofit, to me, that implies selfless. It implies sacrifice. it implies willingness to have a lesser compensation for the benefit of the greater good that your organization publicly supports. Yeah, let's keep going, guys.
Oh my God,
Make-A-Wish.
look at this. The
Yikes.
name game. A very commonly known and respected group is the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This organization spends the vast majority of its donations on children. Kid Wish Network, however, it spends only 3 cents of every dollar collected on kids. But
What
their
did he
website and
say?
solicit-
I didn't see this before, guys. 3 cents? 3 pennies out of 100 pennies get spent on kids? That's sick. I'm not going to look it up, guys. Like, they're looking it up.
It spends only 3 cents of every dollar collected on kids.
That's sickening,
But
guys.
their website and solicitations are designed to look and sound like Make-A-Wish. In fact, they count on confusion to gather contributions. What?
Do we just bury Make-A-Wish? I hope
It's not
not.
Make-A-Wish. It's this Kids Wish Network.
Oh.
is the one that's common
Yeah,
to
let's
Make-A-Wish.
specify that, guys. And I'm going to be careful when I do the formal one, but it's not Make-A-Wish. It's this other different organization that's kind of mirrored to appear like Make-A-Wish, right? Let be real careful because slander is a thing, guys. And again, we talk about the foundation of human values is integrity and honesty. And I'm just watching this video because we're talking about Wounded Warrior Project.
Kids
We're not,
okay, so this
we're
is
not
the
burying Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish is a very respected group.
Yeah,
that organization
Make-A-Wish
spends
good.
the vast majority of its
Kids
donations.
Wish,
But
according
the
to
Kids
this,
Wish Network spends only 3 cents of every dollar collected on kids.
I would say
Well,
that's
that just
not
sounds
good.
like a group that may be trying to trick people.
It is. Yeah, so they're designed to the Kids Wish Network.
Yeah. The lid off.
I hope we did. Yeah, because you get something really.
Well,
We're, but let's go to like the Red Cross
I've heard many.
interests.
Do you care about anything you say?
In what way?
Like, I have one off the top of my head. I don't want to say it because I've heard many times that it's not great with donating, but I'm afraid to say it.
Like what is
Say
that?
it, brother. I know what you're going to
The
say.
Red Cross is proud that an average of 90 cents of every dollar spent invested in delivering care and comfort to those in need. The remaining 10 cents help to keep the entire Red Cross running by supporting routine but indispensable day-to-day business operations. That's great.
Can I say one? And
Yeah,
what
yeah.
but what if I
Red Cross is great.
Red Cross. I have
That's
one
great.
that I know that I've heard
Yeah,
is
good
not
for you,
great.
Red Cross.
What's the name?
Wounded Warriors.
Wounded Warriors.
Yep.
Really?
That's the one why I didn't say it. But I love military causes. But that's one I've heard is not ideal with getting most of the money out.
Let's find out. Yeah. I mean,
I apologize in advance if that's incorrect information.
we'll just edit it out just to avoid trouble if it's incorrect.
It does say it has a good rating, but it also says scandal, and I have to investigate what scandal means, I guess.
Like we moved to we've done a bunch. We do Headstrong, Fisher House.
Wounded Warrior Project's top execs fired amid. Oh boy. Wounded Warrior Project's top execs fired amid lavish spending scandal.
Something there.
What is the? It's got an ad blocker. CEO. So it might have been just the people that were.
This was
running
years
it, 'cause
ago,
they were
guys, right? It's
fired
2026
by
right
the
now, filming
charities
this
board amid
July.
criticisms about
This
how it
was
spent
years
more than
ago, but I'm
800
telling you.
million in donations over the last 4 years. The development was confirmed
Why
by
not?
Abernathy
I'm gonna replay
McGregor,
that.
a
That was
public
yapping.
relations firm. What happened though? What did those guys do?
And
Did it say?
when was this article?
This is 2016. It says they were fired for
They were-
fired by the board for criticisms and how they spent $800 million in donations.
Right, but does it say that they stole it? Like, no. It just said
There
they
it is.
spent.
Nonprofit watchdog Charity Navigator says Wounded Warrior Project spends just 60% of its budget on veterans. The Marine Corps Law Enforcement Foundation provides more than 98% to veterans.
Wow.
Now,
I
maybe it
would lo-
changed since then.
Yeah, maybe it did. And also, I'd like to know, like, why. Like, maybe there's some logistical explanation for why they have to spend so much money. I mean, what does that mean? I don't
Because
know.
that's a cause. You hear the name,
Yeah.
and it's like we've donated tons of different military. That's the one you want to get behind right off the bat.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just the way it says.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The same with, like, Make-A-Wish. Oh, kids. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Dying kids.
Yep.
What do you guys think about that? And we're going to keep running with this, guys. We're talking about nonprofit organizations and trustworthiness and efficiency on spending revenue donated, not revenue, applying donations received towards a purpose of their nonprofit organization. And we're talking specifically about Wounded Warrior Project. And I'm sharing how in the past, during their biggest scandal, it really made me sick and made me lose faith in humanity. The scandal that Wounded Warrior Project is most known for, and give me some bullets I can add to as talking points. Again, I don't know if anyone's ever, we're talking about one organization, right? But just like one person, you look at a moment in time And so what we're looking at is one organization in one period of time, a defined period of time. And it was years ago. We're about to define it, but it was years ago. And the scandal was the scandal that I'm referring to was these executives, these decision makers, these leaders of Wounded Warrior Project during the specific period of time years ago. We're throwing these lavish, high cost functions. We're going to look at it. But what I remember is like essentially they would rent out these resorts and have these lavish, like internal parties, right? I'm going to stop mincing words. Just they threw a party for themselves with a massive amount of money that they collected through donations. That's what I'm saying. And that's what set me off, because during this time was peak, the global war on terror. And, I shared stories of buddies that were killed and wounded and not just my personal experience and people that impacted me, but across the United States military, but also our allies, right? We're talking about in Afghanistan, the International Security Afghan Forces, ISAF. NATO partners contributed and sacrificed and bled, and NATO members lost service members during those operations, and also in Iraq, right? British were there, and I'm not sure who else was in Iraq because I was kind of secluded with just U.S. service members, but you know what I'm saying? They took that money that was donated on good faith that, hey, I'm going to give you $1, right? Represent $1 is represent. I'm going to give you this dollar, and I expect as much as possible to get to the intended audience, to the intended benefactors, and that's Wounded Warriors, right? Wounded, what's the name? I'm going off on this, guys. And then it turns out they spent lavish amounts on internal functions, and it made me sick. And I didn't do anything about it. I kept it internal, and that seed was planted in my mind where I am distrustful of organizations. But you can't, right? We just saw the example that the Red Cross spends a higher proportion of donations received towards the intended benefactors. And I'm talking about Wounded Warrior, and I'll bring up the picture tonight, but I want to show it, guys. I know someone who's part of the Wounded Warrior Project. Let's run, guys. So this is the Human Values YouTube channel.
And he was an Iraqi interpreter, and I love that guy.
Would you believe, guys? Are you going to believe? I know somebody who works in the Wounded Warrior Project right now. And we're going to talk about him. That sounds terrible. We're not going to talk. I'm going to highlight, because it's someone that I admire. Guys, I'm going to turn the volume so you can hear it, but I don't want it to drown out my voice right now. Yeah, it's one of the best leaders I served with. So if you haven't watched this video, guys, I hope you do, because the 7 to 8 people that liked it, I appreciate it. Like, this helps the algorithm, whatever that is, means to you, to like share it. So like, hit share, hit like, whatever, you get the point. Like, participate, help get this stuff out. Yeah, this is a powerful video that I made. But I'm sharing my experience in Iraq, focused on positively impacting and influencing the children of the area I was responsible for, my team and I, and the local Iraqi leaders and security forces were responsible. That's the future, guys, that classroom. I wish I could go back and meet these great people. Yeah, would you believe it, guys? All right, so there's titles in the military like commanders, right? It's the connotation of commander, responsibility. Responsible for everything that organization does or fails to do. And at this moment in time, he was a brigade commander, this leader that I'm talking about. In this moment of time, I was a commander at a smaller level, like company command, and he was my brigade commander, 2 echelons, 2 levels above me. And he's responsible right now for Wounded Warrior Project. And we served together in a moment of time, years ago, like 2008-ish. So that's almost 20 years ago. But I'm telling you, once those core values, you get a sense of them. I don't think people, especially at that age, right? He's not a teenager in that. Neither one of us are teenagers in this picture at this moment in time. He's developed. He's experienced. Like, what I'm saying is that when you reach a certain point, and I don't know it's probably different for everyone. Your core values are established, and that's who you are as an individual. And I wouldn't say I had a lot of interaction with him, but my observations at least were that, he's a man of honor and character and integrity. And that's who is in charge, who's responsible, who's the chief executive officer of the Wounded Warrior Project, is this leader that I served with before. And full transparency, guys. We're talking about Wounded Warrior Project, and I don't know how I came. I think I looked at that. That's how it came up, guys. Because I was looking up how much does the Wounded Warrior Project's chief executive officer make. I found out, and it wasn't him in particular.
All support the men and women who defend our country, and many of us donate generously to help those who have returned from war.
Yeah.
Misspending have now shaken our trust in who is getting our money. So tonight we're on your side with how to be safe with your donations. The Wounded Warrior Project has raised millions thanks to ads from country star Trace Adkins and other celebrities. But now it's enveloped in scandal and local veterans worry.
Something on the news about it, yeah.
Doug Hoskins of Bridgetown, a Vietnam vet, is talking about former staffers' claims of lavish parties, sky-high salaries, and other wasteful spending.
Well, I don't think it's right. That's all I can say about it.
His wife, Sandra, who volunteers at Cincinnati's VA hospital, says the accusations are shameful if true.
We know too many veterans. We know a lot of them. We deal with them at least once a month at the VA hospital.
At veterans halls across the tri-state, worries about how the Wounded Warriors controversy is going to impact donations.
Well, frankly, we're concerned whenever any patriotic organization comes under fire that the public will feel there's a lapse in faith.
Dan Clare is with Disabled American Veterans, the nation's oldest veterans charity based right here in Northern Kentucky. So how can you tell if a veterans group is worth your money? Two great sources to check are the Better Business Bureau and Charity Navigator. Charity Navigator reports that Disabled American Veterans gives 96% of its money to vets, but Wounded Warrior gives just 60%. DAV's Dan Clare hopes people don't cut back on their donations just because another vets group is under fire.
And look into the charities that you want to help and know that veterans need help.
All right. What do you guys think of that? You know, for everything that living, you could look at something in different moments in time. Look at ourselves. 10 years ago, I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. I've evolved. I'm better. And I'm taking a more aggressive effort to improve myself as a human being. So I hope if you can calculate the difference, the improvement I was from 10 years ago to now, I hope 10 years from now, I hope it's even greater because I'm taking a more aggressive and focused and deliberate approach to developing myself as a better human being. But same thing is true about organizations is my point. So Wounded Warrior Project is not the same. I can't say it as fact, right? But I'd bet everything that I own of value that they're not the same organization that they were 10 years ago whenever this scandal happened. And I know they're not because a leader that I greatly respect is now in charge of that organization. So, the purpose of me sharing that video wasn't like, hey, if you support Wounded Warrior or thinking about it, like instead go to this other one. I wasn't aware of that other organization too, but in terms of what gets directed towards the purpose of those, you guys know my point. We all responsible for making our own decisions.